Hello everybody, so in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to do a color grade in about 6 nodes or less. This pretty much applies to every footage from pretty much most camera manufacturers that you could think of. So what you're going to do is go to File, go to Set Project Settings. After you import your footage into your timeline, you're going to go to Color Science. Right here it says DaVinci YRGB. You'll want to make sure that is the same. Then you're going to go to your timeline color space, and you're going to actually set this from, it should probably start at, when you import the footage, it'll probably start right here, like at Rec 709 scene. But what you're going to do is change that to your camera's log gamma and color space. So since I shot this on a Sony FX30, I shot this in S-Gamma 3 Cine S-Log 3. So in other words, it's very important that your footage that you're going to be importing is going to be shot in log, whatever that is, whether it's N-Log, V-Log, Nikon, Canon, it'll be Canon log, Canon Cinema Gamma, whatever that is. So once you have your footage and you know what it's shot in, you're going to change your settings to match whatever that log was that you shot on your camera. Once you have your timeline color space set up, you're going to go to your output color space. And you're going to set this to Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. Reason why is because that's a very common display for monitors, streaming, any type of web display. That's pretty much the color space or the color space / gamma that you're going to see for most digital displays. So once you have that set up, then you're going to click Save. And then here we go. We have our first node right here. As you can see on the left, it looks very flat, very lifeless. But we're going to change that. The first thing we're going to do before anything is we're going to go to Effects and we're going to look up Color Space Transform. Once you have that, you click and drag onto your node. I know I got it like wedged way right here, but there we go. It's selected. I'll move it right here so you guys could see it. And then what we're going to do is change our input color space to basically what we shot it on. So for this footage, since it was shot with Sony S-Log 3 S-Gamma 3 Cine, we're going to select S-Gamma 3 Cine for the input color space. Now the gamma, which is basically our picture profile, we're going to select, since I shot this on Sony, it's going to be Sony S-Log 3. And then for our output color space, we're going to choose Rec 709. And for our output gamma, we're going to do gamma 2.4, just like how we set earlier. So there we go. As you can see, it's looks a bit less flat and terrible. So there's a bit of color. I'll show you what it looked like before. That's log straight out of the camera. And that's with 709 gamma 2.4 color space conversion applied to it. So some people might call this a day. They might turn around and say, oh, well, this is it. This is good. Not quite. You could add a lot more to it. There's a lot more I'm going to show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this over here to the right, and instead of creating a node afterwards, we're going to create a node before. So you're going to hold Shift and press S. There you go. So we're going to move this node right ahead. And actually, as a matter of fact, we're going to move this to the beginning because this is going to be our very first adjustment. So for this adjustment, we're going to adjust the contrast. It's the very first thing that I usually do. So what I'm going to show you guys is a little cool trick on how to basically make your contrast better, more accurate. So what you want to do is you're going to take the saturation down. You're going to bring it all the way down to 0. Don't worry, we're going to bring the color back. It's not going to stay like that. We're not going to make a black and white movie. Then you're going to go to your contrast adjustment up here and you're going to increase it. As you can see, I'm increasing it. It's looking a lot more rich. Yeah, that looks pretty good right there. It looks almost pretty much, just imagine like if you're going to make it look like if it's going to screen in black and white. And then once you get to that point where you like it, you could just come down here to saturation, double click on it. And there you go. So as you can see, before and after, node deselected, node enabled, and you could see where we've added the contrast. And it looks pretty good right there. So yeah, you could adjust it without having to go to black and white if you want. If you want to make it less, more, it's up to you. I personally preferred it at 1.412, so I'll just keep it right there. All right, so now we're going to create a new node, and we're going to create a node right after our first node. So now what we're going to do is press Alt and then press S on our keyboard to create another node. And then for this, what we're going to do is we're going to add some saturation. Now, there's different ways you could add saturation. Some people might go down here and push it, and it works. But what I prefer to use, and you may have already seen this before, but I'm going to show you guys how to do it, is we're going to use HSL for our saturation. So we're going to click our second node, right click on it, go to color space, go on the right, and we're going to go down to HSL. We're going to click this. Now next what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the second node, go to channels, and deselect channel 1 and channel 3. So I'm going to deselect channel 1 first, go back, channels, deselect channel 3. So that's going to leave channel 2 only as enabled. Once you have that set, you're going to go back to your primary color wheels and you're going to adjust the gain and raise it. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. It's going to start increasing the saturation. So I'm going to do it slowly. It's kind of hard to tell, but you could see it's becoming more saturated. So 20. You could keep it at 20. I prefer to go to 25. 20 to 25 with Sony footage I tend to find is the sweet spot. So I'm going to leave it at 25. And to show you that there's saturation, I'm going to disable the node. That's before. It's after. As you can see, it adds saturation, but in a much more natural filmic type of saturation. And this is a very popular way of adding saturation. And there's a reason for it. It looks really good. So once we have that already set up, that's going to be our saturation. Now what we're going to do is create another node. It's going to be our third node. And what we're going to do for this node is we're going to adjust our white balance. Now there's different ways you could do it. You could adjust the temperatures right here and the tint. The best way that I find to adjust the white balance is to adjust the offset. So this is what I'm going to show you guys right here. So we're going to move it. It looks a little too violet. So we're going to move it down a little bit. There we go. Right there. As you can see, we've gotten rid of that weird violet reddish hue. Before, after, before, after. See? So it looks a lot more neutral. Now we're going to create another node. So for the fourth node, we're going to add a little bit of tint, tiny bit of green. Reason why is because that tends to be a bit of a characteristic of film, is to add a little bit of green, not too much, but just a tiny bit. I'm going to show you right here. We're going to go to gain, and we're just going to add a tiny bit of green right there. There we go. Before, after, before, after. See, that makes it look a little bit more moody-ish, might make it look more a little bit like film stock. And then once you have that set up, now we're going to add another node by pressing Alt-S, and we're going to add a little bit of subtle split toning in the shadows. And I'm going to show you guys where to go. So you're going to go down here to log wheels, and you're going to go to shadow. And what you're going to do is push this a little bit towards the blues. And you could see right here, it is adding a little bit of blue. So I'm going to show you what it looks like before. It's before, after. Might be a little hard to see, but if you pay attention to his eye or you pay attention to the dark areas, you could see it taking effect. Before, after, before, after. Right. And there you go. That's pretty much like a basic good starting point right here. And it looks pretty solid, pretty good. Doesn't look overly saturated, doesn't look terrible. A really important thing to stress is really with any footage, make sure that your exposure is correct. Make sure that your white balance is correct. And whatever you capture in camera is going to look good straight out the gate. Because if your white balance is off, if your exposure is off, that's going to make things a lot harder. It's going to basically add more work for you to do in post to fix. All right, guys, so as you could see, this is pretty much our whole entire node tree that we did for this grade. As we could count, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nodes in total. Technically, we only used 5 for our adjustments, and then we have 1 right here that we use just for the color space transform. And I'll go ahead and relabel them just so I could show you basically what we did. So I'm going to go ahead and label them. This will be our contrast. And then the second node right here will be our, this is our HSL saturation, so we'll call it that. And then this was our white balance, our color balance. I'll call it a color balance just because it's pretty much the same, more or less the same thing. We'll call it color balance. And then for our next node, we'll do this, I believe was our green tint. So we'll change the label here. We'll call it film tint. And then our last adjustment right here was giving ourselves a little bit of blue in the shadows to create that split toning effect. So node label, we'll call it shadow split. Well, technically not a split tone, but shadow, call it shadow toning. So yeah, so as you could see, we have pretty much labeled. This is our color space transform. I'll label it just to show you guys. So we'll call it color space transform. And so yeah, there we go. Basically, this is a basic foundation that applies to pretty much almost all cameras out there that you could buy. So so yeah, this is pretty much the end of the tutorial, guys. I'm glad you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe for more, and I'll definitely be making more tutorials, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, get to grading.